So I'm recording the meeting for anybody who is interested.
But I will say this, at least now we're not just getting dissed by the Republican Party, we're getting dissed by the Democratic
Okay.
Party.
All right.
Sorry, but okay, deep breath.
Deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Keep Fishkill Beautiful in an environment where none of us is feeling very beautiful or friendly right now. People are continuing to join. Basically, here's the story. I just want to say something. Can you guys see me? Am I spotlighted, or I don't know how the
I
thing
can
is.
see you, but you're not spotlighted. Like it's like a gallery view or however they do that. I'm not sure.
All right, let me figure out how to let me fix myself. Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, not that I
There you
there
need to,
you are.
but okay.
You're spotlighted now.
My hair is looking.
go.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. Um, Welcome, friends. This is I'm here as a co-founder of the group called Keep Fishkill Beautiful. Keep Fishkill Beautiful has been around for about 18 years. We started because there was an obvious and really aggressive trend to overdevelop our community. And, when this started, there was a development being planned on Baxtertown Woods. They wanted to put high density housing units in. And I was basically new to the community about 18 years ago, and I was told there's nothing you're going to be able to do. People in Fishkill just develop. This is just what we're used to. This is the way of life. You can't fight it. And I decided that we could fight it. And so we just did an awareness campaign, and that development never came to pass. Like it was shot down. The community came together, people came together, residents were very clear, and that did not develop. And in the meantime, um, I got to know certain other members of the community. Anne Lagoy was one of them, and there were several others who were very uh, felt very strong in their beliefs that our open space is precious, and that there is a tendency to overdevelop, especially being that we are in such close proximity to Manhattan, with all the people who are coming in, and greed is just like the money is very tempting. So after that initial fight, which is what it was, we kind of went into sort of dormancy because there wasn't we ended up deciding that we were only going to get involved in issues that were clearly egregious in that they required zoning changes and law changes, and we felt that was very unfair, especially if the laws are constantly being changed in favor of development. So we ended up kind of getting this really exciting following, and to really kind of gloss over, we were involved in another fight where the church on the corner of uh right on Main Street in Fishkill wanted to set up some kind of like another high density housing unit. And again, the community came together. We were able to block that. It was not None of this was easy. None of this was easy. It required I don't even know how countless volunteer hours and research, and then most recently we were involved in the proposed development on the corner of Jackson and Main. And unfortunately for that one, the elected officials in the village of Fishkill, um, even though it was very clear that residents opposed it, and residents came out in droves to all the meetings and expressed that the village had an opportunity to deny that build, and the elected officials chose to go forward with it anyway. The silver lining to that was that two of those elected officials did not win their seats back when they came up to be elected again. So I think that excuse me, it's more of an issue where um, if people are able to kind of pull together and to speak in one voice, and very importantly, if that voice is nonpartisan, that good things can happen and that you have a lot more power than you may realize. So let's talk about the nonpartisanship. Because almost every time, and certainly with the town of Fishkill, our experience has been that it happens to have been the Democrat candidates who have been the anti-development candidates. We have found that they are the ones that we end up supporting. It's very simple. We have a very focused mission, and that is to keep Fishkill beautiful and fight development or unreasonable development and illegal development. And if you are on that side of it, we don't care about anything else. We're not getting into women's rights. We're not getting into, you know, climate change. Like this is for our community in Fishkill, and laser focused on issues of traffic and development. And we don't even ask what political party you're in, and we do not care. And when we fought to get these two amazing women elected to the Village of Fishkill board, I believe, and this is just my personal not really knowing, I believe they were both Republicans, but we wanted them because they were so anti-development, and they were so pro what the residents said, and they were not afraid to speak out to support the community and what they were saying. All right. So that's where we're at. And we have always been there. And in spite of that, we have had consistently the Republicans, the elected officials in the Republicans representing the Republican Party have consistently accused us of being pro-Democrat. Okay. And we've ignored it for the most part. It's neither here nor there. Like we have spoken to, and certainly in our ranks and with the volunteers who have helped us, have been plenty of Republicans who have been involved in what Keep Fishkill Beautiful does. The irony of it is that for the first time, we now have the leader of the Democratic Party coming on to our public Facebook page accusing us of being, in bed with the Republicans, and that one really, and I mean, I'm just speaking for myself, but that one really kind of hurt. Like it was like we have done everything we could, and we have worked what I thought was really well with our I'm calling them anti-development, but I hope you all understand that I mean like, anti-irrational,
Reasonable development.
pro-reasonable development.
Yeah.
But with our pro-reasonable development candidates, we had always felt we had a good relationship with them. And we'll get into that a little more down the road. But what ended up happening, so I'm just going to tell everybody, because we were hoping last time there was an election for the town of Fishkill, we had a candidate for him. And those who were running, and Ann, please remind me, because I know it was Brian Rye, John Foreman, Greg Totino,
And Dan Przyszczak.
Dan,
I think that's how you pronounce his
yep.
last.
And was Ozzy running because he can't?
No.
Okay, so we had a candidate.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. John Foreman was running against Ozzy
Got it. Right, because he was okay.
as supervisor. So he was running. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we had this candidate for him. Brian Rye refused to attend. And when I say refused to attend, it initially started with, I'm busy, I can't make it. And that could be valid, right? And I personally went up to him during a town board meeting and I said, Brian, pull your calendar out. Let's try to find a date that works. And he wouldn't do it. So that was to me, kind of like that, I'm always, we're here to kind of show transparency. So when that happened, I was like, well, I'm going to let people know. And so, and that was the deal. Brian didn't show up. John Foreman did. Ozzy did. Greg did. I think Dan did. So everybody else was able to have a very, I think everybody was maybe a little trepidatious about how it would go, but it ended up, and you can watch it, it's on our YouTube channel, being a really healthy discussion where I think people learned a lot about their candidates. And this was exactly what we wanted to do this time. All right. So for everybody who's watching this, I'm going to just tell you exactly what happened. We approached the three candidates, Cindy Mayetta, Scotty Bierce, and Jackie Bardini. And all of them, whenever we do this, receive all the same information. They all got the same email saying, we would like to have you join us, da 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 da. Long story short, Cindy was the first one to reply. She replied and said, I'm busy Sunday night, I can't make it. So, similar to what I did in previously, I went back to Cindy and I said, all right, give me, maybe another date. Okay. And in the meantime, I'm still waiting to hear back from Jackie and Scotty. Um, and long story short, Cindy has not replied to that invitation to pick another date. Then today, Jackie informed us that she is not going to attend because she will not attend unless Cindy attends. And then immediately after Jackie texted me, I get a text from Scotty saying he will not attend if Jackie doesn't attend and Cindy doesn't attend. So what are we left with? We are left with residents of Fishkill who have three candidates running for office and a very, to be elected to do a very important job. And none of them were willing to come tonight and have a discussion about it. And that's about all the information that I can give regarding Jackie and Cindy and Scotty. What Cindy told me was Sunday night didn't work for her, and then I never heard back despite multiple whatevers. Then Jackie, when she found out that Cindy wasn't going to make it, decided she wasn't going to make it either, and the same with Scotty. And that's all I had. I went back to them. I tried to convince them of the benefit of coming and joining in a in a really frank one-on-one discussion with a group of residents, and they all declined. And because this just happened within the past few hours, Anne and I were kind of left with, do we cancel? Do we hold this? Or we had a couple other creative ideas, but we have decided to hold it and just let people ask questions, and Anne and I are willing to be here and, to the best of our ability, answer questions that people have regarding this. This is being recorded, by the way. You do not have to state your name. You can put questions to me privately in the chat and I will read them. But if there is anything that you would like us to talk about, now is a good time to ask, or we'll just, if nobody really has anything because nobody showed up, then
Yeah.
we'll just wrap it up.
I would just like to comment also, what a huge disappointment this has been, like this experience has been. You and I, ironically, we're both independents, so we have been accused that, we're this, that, or the other thing. And to me, it just does not make sense. If someone is running for office, now you've, what would have been having a third of the time, now you have half the time. Then the other person backed out. Now you have all the time. You can be honest. You can state your case. You can let people know why a candidate, why they feel that they deserve a person's vote. And I think that it really, to me, I will have trouble voting for any of them.
Lisa, I actually have deliberately muted people. I will ask you, I think I can unmute people. If anybody wants to talk, I'm gonna certainly let you talk. I'm sorry, I initially had this set up because when we run these candidate forums, all the questions come through me. And obviously we had a last minute change of plans. And so now I'm happy. I think if you should be able to talk right now, if you want.
Yes, thank you. I'm curious. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate question, but I'm just curious first of all, I feel like it sounds very childish. Like if this person isn't going, then I'm not going, which concerns me about voting for anyone at this point. Um, you know, but I'm wondering if, and I understand if you can't answer it or would prefer not to answer it, but what do you think is underneath that? Like what is the purpose of not coming
It's
out and having a conversation?
I will say that I am not comfortable speculating.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, because I can guess. I mean, I'd rather you guys can take your own guesses at it. I mean, there could be any number of reasons. And what I want to say is like I still want Keep Fishkill Beautiful as a group to remain a trusted voice and to remain something people rely on. And if Anne and I got into the drama and the gossip and the silliness that we see going on within our elected, what's going on that you all can see, and if anybody was on our Facebook group before certain people got blocked the other day, like you would have seen it then too. uh
Mm-hmm.
that is not who we are. So
Yeah, of course. I like that this is a safe place where everybody can have a voice. So yeah, I was just wondering if I missed something bigger, like that
right,
we could talk about, like, but it sounds like
well, I mean,
there's not that, it's not that.
yeah, yeah, if
Okay.
we were this the whole purpose of this was to talk about the three people running. Now, what we can say is they all three of them did offer answers to questions that we had posed to them. And we always go to our community and we and PS, it isn't, it's always just Anne and I, it seems like on the face of things, but just be aware that we do have other people who are not comfortable, and this is probably why. Um
Yeah.
Knowing their faces
Yeah.
on this call, or as part of our group. So, we went to them and we got the questions to ask, and all three candidates did answer the questions, and their answers are visible on our website and they have been shared on our Facebook page. So, I'm really not in the mood to go and read the candidates' answers to their
Nope.
questions. Everybody can read them on their own. Is there a bigger side to the story? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no
Hmm.
idea.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anybody else?
Hmm. So frustrating.
So yeah, it's super frustrating. I'm not gonna have this go too much longer because I kind of
Yeah.
figured like this. And you know what? I just want to relax before the end of the day. So we are thinking about um the next phase of Keep Fishkill Beautiful. And and we're not going to discuss it necessarily right now, but I think that this was really an eye opener for me, um and gives me the desire to want to be even, to use the trust that we have and the support we have for the community in a way that we weren't able to this time around, because obviously, nobody's going to listen to us if they don't have to, right? There really was no reason for any of those people to show up other than just the desire to connect with the community, and we could not, you can't force anybody to do it. But I think there will be ways in the future, if we kind of streamline a few things and formalize a few things, where we can have a greater impact. So I want to leave it on this being an open invitation to anyone who is interested in getting involved, and helping us bring this to another level where we can have even greater impact than we have, and we've had plenty of really good impact on Fishkill. to reach out to us either through our Facebook page or through our website where we have our email address. Just keep fishkillbeautiful.com. Because, you know, this was really not, I think, the result any of us desired or deserved. So
Right.
so if you're interested in getting involved, and you do not, you know, Anne and I are perfectly willing to be the ones to put our faces on it and get yelled at and get bullied and get texted and harassed. I don't know. Am I missing any words, Anne? Like
I
what
don't
has
think
happened?
so. Demeaned, maybe demeaned.
Means okay.
That's a good one.
Yep. Like run through the ringer. Like we are happy to be that person. It will not have to be other. We do need support people. Kathy is asking if Greg could fill in on the status of the downtown prison project. So Greg, let me unmute you so that you can speak to that. And then I am going to go get, oh, Greg, I think I accidentally just muted you. Sorry. Asked to unmute. And I don't know everybody here, so there are some people who, you know, like I said, I had it. Oh, Anne. Oh, Anne. Okay. Before Greg gets going, Anne Mikado was one of these lovely, wonderful individuals who I like to think, you know, we were helpful and instrumental in getting her on the Village of Fishkill board, because and I just so support you. It was such a pleasure to endorse you. You know, I would have loved to have been able to do that this time around, but unfortunately we weren't. So thank you. It does mean a lot to see you write those nice things about us. So I'm going to ask everyone to unmute. So if anybody wants to talk, they can. I think I have to ask you in order for you to do it. Greg, are you able to speak to the?
Yes, I am.
Another endorsed candidate.
Yeah.
Greg.
Yes. Hi, thank you. Yes, I was very happy to receive the KFB endorsement last year. It was, very meaningful to know that people who are invested in, a livable, enjoyable quality of life for Fishkill residents thought that I would be the best choice. And I'm even more of a reward that the residents of the town trusted me with that on the town board. To speak to the downstate prison situation. Obviously, I think the public is well aware of the initial proposal that was put forward by the governor's office in tandem with Empire State Development and a particular developer for the redevelopment of downstate, which was to essentially fill up every possible square foot of space on that property with as many housing units as possible, up to 1,300 of them. Needless to say that for Supervisor Albrecht and myself, that is an unacceptable proposal. That parcel is zoned for single family, 1 acre development, and it's a difficult situation. But we are doing everything that we can, and to that end, the supervisor has been meeting with local stakeholders, including our local emergency responders from the Glenham Fire District, as well as state representatives and representatives of the developer itself, to talk about the deficiencies in the proposal, which not only contains far too many housing units, but also gives, of great concern to me personally, no consideration whatsoever to any of the considerations which have to be made for this type of a development. By that, we're talking about water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure, road infrastructure, both in terms of lanes and traffic flow, but also safe pedestrian access. There's no concern that seems to have been given as to how this might affect our local school district. So our local schools have been involved in these discussions, and we are going to engage in these discussions in good faith. It's not exactly a negotiation at this point, but it's a discussion to try to find more common ground, and we're going to continue to have these good faith discussions. But at the same time, we are prepared for the possibility that this may result in a legal battle. And to that end, the town has already obtained 2 separate independent legal counsels who will be on call for us the moment that we need them, if we do need them. for this proposal. And at this exact moment, I don't have numbers as to what they might be willing to reduce it to. I don't have numbers in terms of how much money they're willing to invest in those infrastructure systems that I was talking about with water, sewer, roadways, sidewalks, etc. But I do know that Mr. Gaba and the supervisor have been engaging in conversations to try to gauge the developer's willingness to be responsible. And, based on that willingness, we might be able to engage in, more real negotiations down the line. But all of that's going to be contingent upon them being willing to significantly reduce the number of homes that they plan to construct. That's essentially where we're at for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Does anyone else have any town related questions I can field or refer to someone else?
Ozzy post on some stuff on Facebook. What was that about?
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Okay, thank you.
I can't speak to the personal motivations of the supervisor. Neither he nor I are candidates for office this year, so on political matters, we're not really coordinating with each other. So I will simply let it say that the supervisor will make statements on his personal social media that are reflective of his personal opinions. I will also say that with regard to the policies, the behaviors, and the systems of Keep Fishkill Beautiful, he and I, based on what he has stated, do not share an opinion. Keep Fishkill Beautiful has always had my good faith, and they retain my confidence in its entirety, regardless of whatever political reasons any of the candidates may have had for choosing not to be here tonight. I made a statement of my own on the post that was made yesterday with the information about tonight. Again, those are my personal opinions and they speak for themselves. I'm disappointed that the candidates were not collectively able to engage in a substantive conversation, just as I was disappointed last year that my opponents in my town board race did not wish to engage in those discussions. But Keep Fishkill Beautiful retains my full confidence because of their genuine and long-standing commitment to the best interest of the residents. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
And I agree.
And I was disappointed that our town supervisor seemed to feel it appropriate in any way to pressure us to endorse a candidate. We're not going to do that unless we feel 100% wholly confident in that candidate. And honestly, thank you for asking that, Joshua. This forum might have given us that what we were looking for. Now, I have talked to Anne about, we touched on it briefly. I think Anne and I are both pretty burnt out at this point. About, things we could have done a little different. I mean, Ozzy doesn't factor in at all. He's not running for office. He's not a candidate. Like, he wasn't really somebody we were going to check in with. Truthfully, he's been banned from our page, which is like pretty incredible
The first person, I think. We've never banned somebody from the page.
Oh no, we have.
Have we? Okay.
But we don't do it a lot. I mean, like
No.
we've had the page for 20 years. But he's not the first, but he is, it takes a lot. And I don't know what to say. Like, we endorsed Ozzy because Ozzy is, has, stood by residents' desires for not developing. And that's really what we care about.
Right.
How Ozzy, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Karen, if I can just jump back in here. I think that Karen and Ann and any administrator of any Facebook page are well within their rights to ban an individual from commenting on that page if doing so, or if those comments are intolerable, or if there's an issue, the administrator of a Facebook page has the right to say you don't get to talk here anymore. The only thing that I will say, and I don't wish to come across as an Ozzy apologist, but what I can say is that I have communicated with him, in his capacity as town
Greg,
supervisor.
I'm going to save you from yourself right here.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. Just don't.
It's
I mean,
fine.
really, like,
All right.
don't.
Yeah, we're good. Like
Yep,
we were fine.
yep.
You know, if anything, we kind of talked about it and decided that hopefully this will kind of, you know, endear us even more to the people who maybe had a question in their minds about where our alliances are, and our alliances are
I
with the
think that's
residents.
been pretty clear. He
I think
owes
that's
you an
been pretty
apology,
clear. I
like
think
a
it's been
public
pretty clear,
apology. If
Karen.
he's going to go into public spaces and just say stuff like that, then yeah.
All right. So we are, and I appreciate everybody who attended before, you know, again, there is a glass of wine and a roaring fire waiting for me where I will
Karen,
be.
before we hang up, I just want to thank you. You and I have been working together in various capacities over a very long number of years. And I appreciate your candor, your honesty, your training on how to not respond. Don't, you know, but I appreciate you. I appreciate that you are level and honest, and you know, it's been a pleasure working with you for what, 15 years?
Thank you, Anne. And right back. You know, it's tough sometimes, and
Yeah.
good to have some good people in your back pocket. So thank you, Anne. All right, I am going to conclude the meeting. This will be published and available for viewing on the Keep Fishkill Beautiful Facebook page. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Karen. Thanks everybody for coming. Sorry it wasn't what you thought it might be. Good night.
Thank you, Debbie.